Like on my channel, I cover, self-defense, a form of mixed martial arts. And you could think, well, that's not for me. I don't need that until the day comes that we do. Welcome back to Gym Fit 50. I'm Donovan. In this video, we are going to include another interview with my health coach, which is my wife. And she is going to chat to us about the pathway to health, it being a journey. I'm going to tell you a story about a troubled young man, and then also why should we train in self-defense. Okay, so welcome back to our in-studio time with my health coach, Veronique, who happens to be my wife. It's kind of convenient. All right, so you were telling me about something that you really feel people need to know.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we struggle with is when we start on a journey to help our health, that we get caught up in it has to be perfect, right? Because that trips us up, that slows us down, and that stops our progress. When we're on this health journey, it is literally changing the way we interact with food, the way we interact with play, the way we interact with stressors in our life. It is across the board, everything. And so it's a life journey. And when we want it to be perfect in this little box, we could start in one direction and then see something on social media and it says, don't do no, 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 no. And then we're like, oh, stop. Don't. And I'll touch on one, like make sure none of your food is in plastics. And then all of a sudden, there's that motivation is lost because, well, what's the point? I've got stuff in plastics in my fridge, Just start making the little changes that you need today. It's the concept of do your best until you know better. And then when you know better, you can do better.
Okay, all right, with that being said though, so for me, when I started to make these changes, I think a big thing was, okay, snacking at night, that wasn't a good thing. Okay. But it was the sugars, because my body needed to burn fat, but it was burning sugar.
Yeah.
And so I have a really serious craving for chocolate and for those kind of things, and not donuts and all that kind of stuff, but just I really like chocolate. So if a person was starting this kind of journey though, is there something that you could maybe tell the people, okay, be aware of this at the beginning though?
Gosh, there's so many different kind of estuaries that you can go down. I think, funny enough, I know we're going to be talking amino acids, but also brain balancing helps people with cravings. And craving certain things show us that they're lacking in certain areas in their brain. So definitely though, when it comes to sugars, in the beginning, moving over to eating honey or stevia, something that isn't registering high on the glycemic index chart, because what a lot of people struggle with is insulin resistance, and eating the standard American diet, we're just spiking all the time, spiking. So if we can try and help that in the beginning, there are some changes that need to be made, and I think I haven't yet met someone who has done these changes and then turned around and regretted it, because across the board, their health has gotten better. They've lost weight. Some of their diagnoses have reversed. It's just been amazing to me. So to watch people just get further along their journey, I would say make the small changes that make the most sense. There might come a time where you're completely off sugar, right? But getting there is going to be tweaking what sugars you have up until the point where you're not on any, instead of just going cold turkey.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Did that answer the question? Was I long-winded?
No, that was good.
Okay.
Okay, so something I also just want to let you guys know is we're going to be providing some links in the description as well. So if you're wanting to book a time with either me or Veronique or both of us you can actually click on one of these links, and the first time to get a consultation, it'll be about 20 minutes. So if you guys want to take advantage of that, that's actually a pretty good deal. So yeah, like I said, in the description, there should be a link over there, and click it and let us know. Okay, story. True story. There was this guy, he knew this family, and he showed up. It could have been a visit or dinner or something like that. And upon entering the home, he got introduced to these people's daughter's boyfriend. Now, unbeknownst to him, this young man was a very troubled individual. The parents had actually struggled with the fact that their daughter was dating this guy. So, a bit of a tough one. Maybe some of you have been in that situation. So, this man, upon, greeting the family, he looked at this young man, and I believe that he perceived something about him. He could actually see on his countenance, and also the fact of what he was wearing, that he was a little bit of a rebellious character. But he didn't judge him because of his appearance or because of even what he perceived this young man was. Instead, when he greeted him, he looked into his face and he said to him, "You have the most beautiful eyes." And that's all he said to him. I believe that was all the conversation that he actually had with this young man. I think the rest of the family standing around were thinking, gosh, this is kind of odd. And maybe it was. However, fast forward a number of years, this particular man who said these words over this young man was at some sort of gathering of sorts. And the next thing he knows, he's got this person in front of him who gets his attention and says hi. And this particular man looks at him, he doesn't recognize him. And this young man goes on to say that a few years ago, he had this encounter with this man, and how that he was going through a really hard time. He was struggling with himself. He was just mad at the world, mad at God, mad at everything and anyone. And then this man, upon meeting him, said to him he had the most beautiful eyes. He said when those words were spoken to him, he felt something on the inside of him, and it changed his life. He said that moment that that man spoke those words to him, he said it changed his life, he believes, forever. And he wanted to, when he saw this man, he wanted to come over and tell him that these words impacted him to such an extent that he felt like he would never be the same. So I want to challenge us. I mean, for me, going around like my day, meeting people is, what is our perception like, of others and even ourselves? Because do we look at ourselves in the mirror and can we say that to ourselves? Can we look past the flaws? Can we look past the things that we're struggling with and look into the mirror and say, you're awesome. You're gonna crack this. You're gonna make it. You are courageous. You are just a wonderful person. I challenge you, and I've done this sometimes, where like maybe the checkout, I will, as I'm going through there, I will try and think of something that I can say to the person, who's the cashier. Some word of encouragement, something that maybe I feel on the inside of me that I can speak to them and speak, like, I guess, over them, into their very being, into their soul. Something that is like out of the ordinary, something that is, I guess, supernatural. So let that be your challenge. Do that not only for others, but do that for yourself. Look at yourself, in the mirror, and then think, what wonderful encouragement can I give myself today? So you may wonder, like on my channel, I cover, self-defense, a form of mixed martial arts. And you could think, well, that's not for me. I don't need that. I mean, that may be true. We may never need it until the day comes that we do. The one thing that has been found, that with people who train in some sort of, self-defense, that after a period of time, they actually give off a particular frequency or vibe that they are not afraid. They're not a victim. Whereas people who never do anything like that, they don't. And then on the flip side as well, you get the people who are angry and aggressive, and they, of course, they give off like their own kind of frequency. And have you ever seen these videos where people, like, unfortunately, a lot of times guys, where they, they do the whole thing where they come up like right close to the person, and they're trying to assert themselves, as the dominant, of the species. And unfortunately, if the other person doesn't know anything about distance, they're just going to stand there. Or maybe if they want to, feel like they need to fluff out their tail feathers as well and be also show how dominant they can be, then they close the gap and they stand over there like just within about a foot of each other or sometimes inches. And now they're trying to assert themselves. I mean, that's just a really bad idea because you don't know if the person has a weapon. You don't know if they have some sort of skill set. Maybe they train with something and they're just a very aggressive person who actually likes to hurt people. And then you're so close to them that they can do anything to you. So as I've mentioned before, what we train in all the time is always de-escalation. We don't want to get into a fight. I hope I never have to use anything that I've learned. But I am learning nonetheless. And I train every single week, anything from 1 to 2 to maybe 3 times a week. And if someone is aggressive with you, don't let them get within 6 feet of you. I mean, that is like the kind of rule of thumb that we do, because at that distance, they can actually launch into any kind of assault. They could try and kick you. They could potentially hit you, and you don't want to have to deal with that within that 6 feet rule. So once again, we are training because it instills inside of us a knowing that if anything's going to happen, we are prepared for it. And I have heard a lot of discussions because, like, even the classes I go to, which is like more the Krav Maga style, which some people are not fans of. But we actually deal with, that's why it's actually more of a mixed martial arts, because we have a lot of the disciplines that actually come into it. It's not like maybe the Israeli Krav Maga. It's not exactly like that. We don't actually operate the same. But that being said, people, they will rain on other people's parade because of the type of discipline that they do, because of the type of self-defense that they do. The fact of the matter is that just do something, because something is better than nothing. And if you are ever in a situation where you know that you can defend yourself with that particular discipline, with that self-defense practice that you are doing, then that's great. Because it's better you doing anything that helps you than doing nothing. Because like I said in one of the previous videos, when my wife and I first went to train, we thought we were just going to like stand around and watch, because we were just going to explore this option. And the instructor, he didn't want anything of it. That wasn't quite the way he does stuff. And he pulled my wife aside first, and he really got in her face. I mean, he started to communicate with her in a way that many of you would probably not really like. And some of you may get angry, some of you may want to walk out, but he created a real life situation. And he did that with quite a few people when they came in for the first time, because he wanted to see what would they do. I would encourage you, go to a class and then see if they do something like that. Find out from the instructor, or find out from your friends who maybe they do mixed martial arts or they do some sort of self-defense. Does your instructor get in your face the first time you come and create almost like a real life situation? Because that is a phenomenal experience to actually go through. I watch a great deal of videos, like the surveillance videos captured by stores, maybe people with cell phones or whatever, about fights that happen. And I would say 90% of the time, these people who are having this engagement with each other, they don't really have any skills. They're just swinging. and they are using maybe brute force, and they're angry, they're mad. And the one thing that we are told a great deal of the time is that we need to practice like a composure, because when a person gets angry, you kind of get tunnel vision, and you are just really seeing very limited about what's going on in front of you, and the things to the side just kind of fade away. In some situations, maybe they would be good, but if a person who is trying to assault you has friends, then that's not a good thing, because I saw that happen in one of the videos too. The person was engaging with this person and getting really hostile with them, didn't realize that right over here was a friend of theirs, and that friend, he got involved, and he took the guy out. So this is not meant to instill fear in you. I just want you to know that if you do self-defense training, it's really a good thing. It'll actually it'll produce some confidence in you, and it doesn't mean that you just want to, like I said, go out and look for a fight, or just think, okay, you've done a few classes and now hey, I'm ready. No, you need to train. It's like with anything. It's the same thing with gym, with fitness. I don't just go once a week or go for a month and then think, okay, I've done it, been there, and I've got the t-shirt. No, it doesn't work like that. We do it all the time. It's the people with weapons training. They do that all the time as well. So be encouraged in this. Go and seek out a place, a reputable place, and start exploring that avenue of training in self-defense. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, especially the time with my coach, Veronique. So don't miss out on the next one. She's going to be covering amino acids.
So the beautiful thing about amino acids is that it helps just lay good groundwork when you're using it like a treatment instead of just food that you eat. It helps your brain utilize the appropriate neurotransmitters.
And I did not realize how great amino acids can be for you. So stay tuned.